franktalks.com.
Why'd I write this book? 4 reasons. The first is the power of closure. Closure is the first real reason for writing this book and is one of the greatest healing factors of all time. Finding closure to any wound from your life is the process of learning from your own pain and turning those learnings into deep parts of yourselves. The writing of the first draft of this book is to solidify everything that I have learned and that have become a part of me. I learned to be free from my own deeply but ill-connected emotions and attachments to the wrong kinds of people. How I wish there had been this book available to me when I was going through my development. Now at least there is a book for others to gain where I had to tread alone. The second reason is so that I always remember. I never want to forget where I came from. I never want to forget my past. Through my development, I kept a journal that recorded the events as they happened, and it was that journal which became the fodder for this series of books that I'm writing and going to continue to write. At some point, all the teachings and all the new behaviors will become habitual and autopiloted. At that point, we as men can be naturals with our interactions with women. That is the ultimate goal in all of this. When men reach this level, they also forget the pain and the specifics of what got them there. And they also lose the ability to enter the reality of other men they wish to offer advice to on the subject. It happened to me one day when I was with a client, and he was giving me a situation he was in. I was trying to explain my viewpoint to him, but I could not articulate it enough. When I got home, I delved into my journal. I found an article I had written when I was in that same situation and what actions I took. In reading that article in my journal, I realized I had so internalized my learning that I could easily tell him what to do, but I couldn't tell him why I knew it was the thing to do. I was not able to explain it to him because, although I knew the answer, I was not able to understand the pain he was coming from. So I decided to write this book so that I would have a proper reference for my own experiences, so when I am a natural with women, I will not lose the ability to teach what I know. Going through the process of writing these books, especially this one, forced me to relive some of the worst moments of my life. In the last little while, I have been on the edge and been more introverted than I normally am. It was part of the process. I feel good when I teach and give back some of what I learned. The third reason is that during the process of finding myself these last few years, I came to a realization that although intellectually I knew before, I only learned to feel once I embraced the sacred part of me. The reason is my desire to make the world a better place for my being here. I currently do an internet radio show entitled Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles. The mandate of the program is that I want to make the world a better place by educating people, audiences, and with this book, Men in Pain, to show them the possibilities to lead more interesting and fulfilling lives. You see, I know a secret. That one day, I am going to die. I will not be around forever. I came to that conclusion when I was about 16. I did an oral presentation in my grade 11, secondary 5 here in Canada, English class on the topic of death. I had just attended the funeral of a neighbor and close friend. I remember distinctly during that class presentation that near the end, I had led the class of about 30 students between the ages of 15 and 17 through the following exercise. Here is that exercise. Take a look. Take a good look. Just for a few seconds at the face, and especially in the eyes of the person sitting to your left. And they did. Then I told them to take a look at the person sitting to their right. Look into their eyes. Look at their face. And they did. I did the same thing for the person sitting in front of them, behind them, and across from them. Basically, take a good look at all the faces and all the eyes of everyone in the class. Go ahead, do this now. Just make eye contact with everybody. At some point, some of the kids were giggling, making faces at their friends. I ignored that part. Then I took back control and asked everyone to look at me. Once I had their attention again, I said the following statement, which sent some of the toughest, snarkiest teenagers in the room into absolute tears and minor hysteria. Everybody that you just looked at, all these faces, someday are going to die. I wanted to make my life count for something. I wanted to do something great to contribute. It's not enough just to make the world a better place. It is now about making the world a better place, even better than when I first arrived, and have it continue to get better long after I'm gone. I know I'm going to die, but if I am remembered, then I will truly never be gone. And if I can inspire thoughts, ideas, and passions, then those thoughts, ideas, and passions, and the children born from those thoughts, ideas, and passions, will carry with them an energy that I helped create. And in that way, I will be truly immortal, even if I am not remembered. The fourth reason I am writing this book is that a few years ago, when I realized that my way to make a difference would not be found in, at the time, my chosen career path, I started to focus on how any person can, make a difference. Thus I present to you the Frank Epiphany. The Frank Epiphany, what it really means to make a difference. Recently I had an epiphany. I understand for myself what it means to make a difference. Although many people I know have the same desire, I realize that making a difference, at least the way I mean it, is not just filling a preset role that can be accomplished by someone else. It has to do more with who I am as a person. I have identified 3 ways to make a difference. Number 1, personal choice and achievement. Number 2, in the scope of employment. And number 3, by accident. Number 1 has to do with making a conscious choice. The difference in this method is an extension of who I am as a person. In other words, the difference would not have occurred unless for you, as the person you are. It is a conscious choice. These people take incredible pains and sacrifices in the form of action to better develop themselves, goal setting, life planning, and making things happen. They make a decision to act, and act they did. It is the power of influence from the source of the individual, an original creation, as original as anything can be, not created in a vacuum. Number 2, in the scope of employment. Some people make a difference in the course of their employment or role. They follow a preset list of goals, rules, and scripts. It is their job to make a difference. However, their jobs and roles are to be filled by those who desire them. Generally speaking, if they specifically aren't there to do the work set out, it is more than likely that someone else will fill the role and achieve results with it. Here, we look at police officers, firefighters, soldiers, parents, guardians, teachers, and many more. Number 3, by accident. Lastly, there are those people who by sheer accident make a difference. There's no conscious choice to better themselves to become the type of person capable of massive influence and no goal setting. They simply make a difference depending on luck and circumstance and a series of unbeknownst correct choices that led to a random yet welcomed outcome. I originally thought I would make a difference by, number 2, seeking a position of employment in my original chosen profession, only to find out that I would have to sacrifice myself to do that job and would be sacrificing some of the parts of myself that I wanted to make a difference with to begin with. I also noted that there was always someone else waiting in line to do that job and take it away from me. Could do it just as well, if not better, and just as without much more of a powerful influence than I. That proved unfulfilling. If I just waited and hoped that I would end up making a difference on a grand scale by accident, that also meant that I was waiting to see if there was a chance that it would not happen by accident. That proved unappealing. So it would be through number 1, me, that I would have the greatest chances and controls to best achieve that goal, despite the grand obstacles ahead of me. Once I came to this conclusion, I was immediately faced with my very first dilemma. For if it was up to me, number 1, to make that fantasy a reality, I had to figure out who me is. You will read about this in the story of Frank Kermit. I am a man. I do good deeds in the world and I make mistakes. I am not perfect, but I am great. I love women. They do good deeds in the world and they make mistakes. They are not perfect, but they are great. I am energy, I am emotion, I am intellect, I am total understanding, I am learning, I am anger, passion, love, hate, sweet, and vicious, and all other emotions and traits that make me human. I am a teacher. I am an entertainer. I want to make a difference. And altogether, I am Frank because I have to be. Welcome to the journey of my being. I hope you enjoy your stay and leave a better man for it.
From Loser to Seducer is the story of Frank B. Kermit. This book marks the triumph of a nice guy over most of his inner demons. This includes going from being a loser to managing 5 lovers at the same time, his first Valentine's date with 2 women at the same time, and getting back the one that got away. Want to learn how you can change your life? Buy this book at franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating and relationships? Visit